She got me. New Louboutin, you would think I'm bleeding from my toes. Dig all inside of you, make you free.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy 3MG. We are back with another video. Now, slowly I'm gonna start bringing back some pre-recorded content, gaming news, and all the other good stuff. And with this video, we're gonna talk about Ubisoft's announcement a couple of days ago with Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon's Breakpoint. Now, that's one of their newest Ghost Recon game in the franchise. I think it's expected to be released October 4th, 2019. And I'm just gonna give you guys my flat out honest opinion, as well as speak on the game's new details. I don't really want to go too much in depth on what the story is about. Pretty much you guys get the gist of Tom Clancy games. It's probably something related to a task force. You playing as Ghost, a team Ghost. You guys infiltrate a certain city, certain country, certain state. Of course, you get resources. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Advanced enemy to AI and just technology that's involved in this whole thing, suited up with you and your, I guess, friends, co-op or solo. I understand the whole gist of Ghost Recon. I'm really not a fan at the direction that they went with Ghost Recon, especially, you know, with Wildlands. But I did give it a chance when it first came out. You guys saw my video. I was not having as much fun because I have a huge problem with Ubisoft pushing open world on all their games. And what I don't understand and what I don't seem to get is when you have a game like The Division, then you start to release a game like Ghost Recon. I know they're different because of what their styles of gameplay are, but at the same time, it is still very similar to the aspect of open world and what the game generally has you do. Like, what is it that you have to do in the game? And they've been very similar for the most part. Now, pretty much, I'm just gonna get right to the gist of what I see here on the website. I've seen the gameplay, the trailer, everything. It didn't look bad at all, but I can't help but express how I feel about the game, and simply because of my past relationships with, you know, Wildlands and every other Ubisoft title up until this current gen of PS4, Xbox One, and of course PC. So it says, welcome to Arawa. It says, somewhere in the South Pacific lies the remote Arawa Archipelago, a vast land diverse of biomes that range from lush rainforests to snowy peaks. Now, this is like an advanced island, super technology, super strong AI. It says high security utopia of sustainable eco cities and robotic research. This is taking place a little bit into the future. However, it's everything of what Ghost Recon Wildlands brought to the table and more. I think where it might kind of hit home, where it might actually appeal to so many people, is the new features added, which should have been in what most Tom Clancy games should have had featured. I'm going to read that in a second, but pretty much it has very similar landmass and climates to what Wildlands had brought, like the snowy areas. It's going to have the rainforest areas, and that's kind of where it hits me a bit, because you just think for a second, everyone judges Tom Clancy games now for being a rinse and wash, or rinse and repeat, or a reskin of a game. And from this gameplay, it looks exactly like that, but much more polished. It looks much more advanced, much more clean. And from the details given, it looks like what should have been in these kind of games for a very long time. It also features co-op, a competitive multiplayer, which I'm glad day one they should have. I don't know if it's day one, but they should have a competitive multiplayer. If it is, again, a 4v4, the map sizes need to be reduced or something, because they try to bring it with Wildlands and it was just not the best, honestly. These types of games with the new features that are being added, which I will read in a few, should actually include some multiplayer, which would be a great thing. I do not hope for any battle royale in this game, but it says seamless open world co-op. You're able to join your friends, or you could play solo. They could join at any time. The ghosts that you do create in the game, all progression means everything, which is, if you jump to the multiplayer, you jump on co-op. If you guys want to explore the city or the world doing challenges that are outside from the story missions, everything will progress through your ghost. So make sure that whoever you create, you stick to it, because it's going to go as far as into even competitive. So make sure you guys keep note of that. Now, getting right into the game, it has a whole new style of survival. And the part that kind of itches me a little bit for wanting to actually play this game is they finally bring what should have been in every kind of survival, or like being in a task force and you jumping right into like this country or city trying to infiltrate. This is the type of shit that should have been in the game even with Wildlands. And that's this whole military survival. It says experience life as a ghost, an elite US special operations soldier as you fight back from behind enemy lines on the toughest missions of your career. Now, of course, they're gonna make it sound juicy. However, we don't know what we know until we get to damn play the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know how the AI is going to react. And in my personal opinion, I'm not a huge fan of Ubisoft's AI. I feel like everything is controlled just through difficulty and not through actual AI. I feel like everything is already set in stone. If you replay a mission, the enemies move in the same exact position. Also, I feel like just because a bullet is let off, if you have the game in the highest difficulty, everyone's gonna be alert. I feel like the AI works very clunky in my opinion. And instead of it being that if they're artificial intelligence, I feel like what actually happens is their aim becomes amazing, the damage becomes higher as you increase difficulty. Now, having this military survival into the game, this whole game is going to be based on real stealth, real survival tactics, having to communicate if you do play with your friends. And I guess they're going to have like some inputs for you and your controlled AI ghost. But they introduced this new injury system, which is my personal favorite, to be honest. It has everything to do with how much you take care of yourself throughout these missions. If you so much as getting shot, if you get shot in your leg, as you progress in the game, pretty much you don't want to injure yourself throughout the game because you become more and more restricted and limited to what you're actually able to do, and the missions become much more harder. That is something that I find amazing if they can execute it properly. So for example, if I continue to get shot, I have to also make sure that I regroup with my ghost, I find medics, I kind of heal myself and repair myself, take my time, because if I get banged up too much, I'm not able to aim my gun correctly, and this is throughout and progressing through the story. So you don't want to actually hurt yourself early. You really want to focus on stealth. It's not being forced. You know, these missions aren't being forced to be with shitty AI where you're just going in and you feel like, man, I could just go in and shoot. If it's to the point where you actually have to be careful because getting hurt too much can affect how you play the game, that's pretty damn great. I like that a lot. You also could become dehydrated. You need to drink fluids. You need to eat in the game. Not ever so often, but you need to make sure that you are hydrated and you are actually living life in this game as you progress throughout the story. I think that with the injuries that they included into this game and having the bandage up is going to add a lot of emphasis on stealth. People are going to have to play a certain way. You're going to have to be forced to be stealthy. It's going to actually put a whole new perspective and lens behind how to play a stealth actual game. So I'm really interested in that. That's why this is probably my favorite thing added into the game. The bivouac, which if you guys don't know, it's a temporary camp where your controlled AI ghost, or your friends can rest. You can actually repair your weapons, clean up your weapons, change classes, craft items, upgrade your gear. You can actually trade items within the camps. A lot of great stuff. And that buddy carry that they introduced into the game, some of you may not think it's serious. It kind of throws me a bit off that that's actually something they wanted to add as a feature and actually make it known. That's something that should always be in the game, and pretty much it's like you leave nobody behind. They're gonna add obviously items and perks and all this other stuff to introduce in the game, like if you want to throw a smoke and you get to save your companion, you get to save your buddy in the game, and pretty much while there's a firefight, anything going on, you could try to help them get back on their feet. It's huge emphasis on teamwork, a lot of emphasis on stealth, and I think with these features alone adds a whole new way to play the game, because with Wildlands, I did not give a shit how I played the game. It got very boring and bland. With stealth, all your training and skills to infiltrate, or evade your enemies will hunt you without no mercy, as is stated here. But they added prone blending. That's something that, of course, is inspired by the movie Predator and other movies, whereas you can actually now move around wherever you're at in the map. If say you're in mud, it allows you to move around in the mud and blend in. So I think that's a pretty cool feature that they have. Like I said, attention to detail often makes a game better if you're kind of limited with a story, but seeing that there is a big story behind this, adding all this attention to detail can actually make this game really great. You're able to ambush your enemies by just prone blending. Pretty much wherever climate or whatever you're at, or bushes or anything, you can pretty much try to blend with the environment. They got advanced enemy AI, adaptive cover. Adaptive cover is where you try to innovate your cover system. It will automatically adapt your ghost body position to match anything and execute advanced tactics such as leaning to aim around corners. These are things that they've added into the game, which I think is pretty damn cool. Again, they're going to feature competitive multiplayer. They're going to have a whole bunch of new modes that they want to introduce in the future. And in the gist of it, it's just like Wildlands, but much more upgraded. the attention to detail is what they really put a focus on in this game. Again, I can't express it enough that my favorite thing about it is the stealth and how they introduce this whole survival aspect of the game outside of just military missions. It's like you have to eat, you have to stay hydrated, maintain your health and stamina. You have to work on your weapon maintenance to keep the guns working and accurate. If you don't take care of that, your guns might lock up, they might break. That's very important. You have to treat your injuries that will otherwise affect your performance in the game. The fact that you won't even be able to heal people, or you won't be able to pick anybody up because you're still wounded, that is very important. I think that's really cool. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, UFC, I know it's way off of like the genre, if you get hurt in UFC 3 too much within your career, you had to retire early. So with that, I try to in turn bring it into Ghost Recon. If you get hurt so much, you become so limited and restricted. I don't know if it makes you end the game and you have to start all over, but you're very limited and restricted to what abilities and what actions you can be taken. I think that's really freaking cool. So that being with the bivouacs and scattered around the islands where you get to trade within camps, I think that's cool. But is Ubisoft going to execute it is what I need to know. Now, if I missed anything, you guys can, of course, you know, express it or explain it in the comment section below. But let's really be honest here. Everything we normally see from Ubisoft is not what we get in the full package the day of launch. That is my issue. How graphically good and impressive the game looks isn't always how we get it in the package the day the game releases. Also, the features become very different. We get less and less of the quality of each feature. Like, for example, as you can see in the gameplay that I've been playing back over and over, you can see the gentleman, like how he looks wounded, spitting out blood. Is that gonna be there? The attention to detail is gonna be in the full game when it releases? Because they often catfish us or give us this type of hope that we're gonna get this particular game, but when it comes out, we don't get any of that shit. Even the AI becomes dumped, like it becomes trash. So I have a huge problem with that. Another big problem, and it's just my own personal thing, is I'm really sick and tired of these terrains and snowy peaks, or you forcing this open big landmass. Like, if you have to make it linear, make it linear. I'm kind of sick and tired of it because we normally explore these worlds that have shitty looking, like, how can I say it, like residents or people who live within the community, and it's the same like 10 AIs, like the same type of 10 people wearing different outfits all over the cities. Like I said, I sound like I'm complaining, but again, it's like almost all their games are becoming the same. It's reminding me like Bethesda. Bethesda's games are very similar. Ubisoft games, I feel like with Tom Clancy, they could be amazing movies, but damn, like the way they executed video game wise, always is subpar at best. Like the Division 2, like look, that game was good when it came out. Is anybody still playing it now? I don't know, but I just know that with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they finally added something what I feel like is the most important. That's the attention of the attention to detail. You guys can leave your comments below. Let me know whatever complaints or what your hypes are, what your hopes are with this game. Like I said, competitive multiplayer, I hope it comes day one because I'm looking to play that a lot, especially if it's on some real Rainbow Six type shit, but it's third person. I'm really fine with that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's your boy 3MG. God bless everyone, and I'm out. Peace. Oh yeah, by the way, if you think I'm hating on this shit, I play every Ubisoft game known to man. I don't have time for people to just be like, oh man, I like war games, you guys are fucking hating. I am very happy with the features and everything that's introduced with this game, but let me not fucking sit here and tell you that Ubisoft pulls the same shit with their games every time, and we normally don't get what's been promoted. I'm just saying, or whatever's advertised. I'm out. Peace.